Yo, what's up? Very great news today. It's Hype Week and the Hype Week will not stop. It will be lots of hype this week because we got informed yesterday about the upcoming Forest Shadows update, which has late war, late 1944, early 1945 commando warfare as an overall topic, meaning we will get lots of silenced weapons, lots of late war stuff. And Japan finally also gets some interesting new toys that it very much needs. So everything will be nicely balanced out after this update comes out. We don't know exactly when it will come out yet, though I suspect in 2 weeks. Because usually what happens is, whenever you see the premium squads for a new update announced, it will be 2 weeks until the update finally comes out. With some luck, it can come out a bit earlier even, so yeah. So now I'm going to talk about the main update tomorrow, because otherwise this video would be very long. So today I'm going to talk about the first news of today, and it's the Silent Storm guerrilla squads. Keep in mind, the overall update is called Forest Shadows, and this pre-order bundle that you get is called the Silent Storm guerrilla squads. Now, what's so special about them? Well, as you might see from the thumbnail, these are what looks like elite soldiers, or at least special forces, with nice camouflage for the German dudes, the famous face camouflage, which by the way looks much better in the game than in real life. In real life it was very ugly. Here it is quite perfectly designed. This is a green beret, which were very high quality special forces of the Brits. And both of them carry a silenced assault rifle. This dude carries the classic STG-44 and the Brit carries Thompson. So very nice. Now let's see, what do these dudes do in detail. First, the British squad, Commandos with Thompson M1 S stands for silenced. Obviously in the American faction with BF4. Very important, BF4, not BF5. So BF4 is getting stacked, and don't worry, BF4 is getting even more. More about that tomorrow in the main news drop, because some of the tech tree weapons are also BF4. And yep, I'm gonna show you, tell you so much. BF4 Soviets is getting more and more stacked. Yes, it's one of the coolest BRs to play actually, together with Germany BF4, but BF4 Soviets have all the fun stuff. So, back to the British Commandos. Well, they are, the famous Green Beret, featuring Fairbairn Sykes knives, meaning they come not just with a special weapon, not just with special perks and special outfits, but also with a special knife that you can't take off. Usually this is a problem, because you want to charge, and without an axe or a sword you cannot charge. But as Major McDonald said in the post down below, Gaijin highly considers buffing these knives so they give you a passive running bonus. So you don't even need to charge. You can just run all of the time, all day, every day, and you will be very fast. So yeah, this is quite good. And I'm going to also show you stats for the Thompson. Here it is. No, here it is. It's BF4. You get the normal Thompson damage, or a bit less possibly, 8.1. and 5.4 on 100 meters. You get a very, very good fire rate. It's almost MG42 100 fire rate. And you get the slow Thompson muzzle velocity, sadly, but still the high fire rate makes up for it partially. You get very fast reload. You get very high shot deviation, sadly, but also good recoil control, and most importantly, very low recoil. So this is very good. The weapon will be extremely easy to spray. And most importantly, it has a suppressor. Now, what do suppressors do in real life? Usually, in order to really work, they need also subsonic ammunition, which is very slow ammunition, that is slow enough that it, doesn't break the sound barrier and doesn't create loud sound when you shoot it. If you combine suppressors with such ammunition, the bullets you're shooting are actually very, very silent. If you shoot normal bullets, even with a suppressor, you still hear quite a loud sound. But yeah, and there are also different types of suppressors, different types of modification. modifications in real life. Now what do suppressors do in Enlisted? Very simple. Bots don't hear you. Meaning, if you shoot at someone, the bots won't react to you. They won't turn around, they won't shoot at you, they won't do anything. Oftentimes, when people complain about being shot through bushes or stuff like that, it's because, well, you were shooting yourself. Or even worse, someone in your vicinity was shooting and the bot just turned around to this person and you're in front of the bot and the bot shoots you. In order to avoid that, you just use weapons with suppressors. And then no one will react to you. And congratulations, you can spray everyone from the sides. Especially if you're sneakily flanking around or infiltrating the enemy gray zone. You just shoot everyone with your suppressed weapons. And congratulations, you can actually role-play Green Berets like you're playing Commandos from 2001. Yeah, so very nice. The Germans also get a squad like that. Though these are the Werwölfes. Well, werewolves, what was that? It was basically, to my knowledge, it were irregular units, meaning they didn't use uniforms, which was illegal. Meaning because you're not allowed to fight without uniforms. You're by definition a terrorist and usually will be executed when you get captured. That's why, for example, the Volkssturm wore these armbands, because they were designated as like a fighting militia that were still legal. Yep. So the difference, there's a clear difference. You're not allowed to fight without a uniform. Yeah. These dudes specifically tried to hide, and well, I don't know everything in detail. I don't know whether they had these uniforms, because obviously if you wear something like that, it can count as a uniform, though you also need some type of rank display usually to count as a uniform. So yeah, it's quite complicated. But either way, they usually work like guerrillas or partisans or commandos in Enlisted, because they try to hide, they try to not be, well, seen, as you can see from their masks, and they try to not be heard, as you can hear, as you cannot hear, but as you can see with the silenced STG-44, because this is another good old STG-44 with the classical, well, roughly the classical stats, and even better shot deviation than the Thompson. Extremely good recoil control. 70 recoil control basically means you don't get any recoil, and also very low recoil overall. Now, anything close to 30 vertical recoil is basically nothing, and anything under 10 horizontal recoil is also nothing. So the STG will be ridiculously easy to spray, especially since it has a slower fire rate than the Thompson. If you compare it with the Thompson will be actually harder to control, will be harder to spray, but it shoots faster, so it kills faster. Whereas, well, it will be absolutely deadly on shorter distances, whereas the STG will be more effective on medium and long range distance, which is very close to what it also was used like in real life. So yeah, these are the features of your two squads. Of course, BR5. Yeah, very nice. And you can get these squads, of course, once the new update releases, or you can pre-order them in the pre-order bundle, which gives you this portrait, which is based on a real-life picture, by the way, and also this name decorator with the two cool commando daggers. So yeah, very interesting. Link down below if you want to pre-order it. I'm definitely going to get it and show you these two squads once they come out with the update. Yeah, can't wait. Like, these two count as guerrilla squads, obviously. They very likely will have special perks. I hope they get more perks than normal guerrillas, because since they're high BR, they will very much need the high perks. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Finally, guerrilla squads for high BR that you can play, because the partisans and enlisted always suffered from not being able to keep up with the assault rifles on BR5, but these dudes can, because they literally have something like assault rifles in their hands. Alright, let me know what you think and how you think these dudes will perform. There's already people saying, oh no, the world will end, they are too strong, everyone will be killed in the gray zone and enlisted games will not work out anymore. Yeah, this is of course nonsense, because they are directly competing with assault squads in BR5, which have 7 dudes. yeah, they don't have 5 assault rifles, but they have 4. So, but, well, what I'm actually very happy that I hope these are as buffed as possible, because the difference between 5 and 7 soldiers is actually very big. And the lack of engineers or radio men is also very big. But the fact that you can actually have suppressed weapons and effectively kill more enemies because you will get killed less often in return, yeah, this can mean that these squads are potentially very, very strong. So yeah, I'm gonna stay tuned. I'm gonna show you them as fast as I can get them with the update, and then we're gonna see what the enemies are gonna do when you shoot them with silenced bullets. All right, until tomorrow, where you're gonna get more updates. And of course, to the 250th anniversary of the American Army, I think, a little event started in the game. It's as usual just a little event with small prizes, but you don't have to do anything special. You just play normal games and get the prizes for free. So that's very nice. Anyway, okay. Until tomorrow, and goodbye. Of course, like the video and subscribe if you're new to get all the cool stuff in the future.